Hey there, YouTube. It's a guy that plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, and today we're going to get on Project Ignis, and we are trolling in the friendliest way possible. Now, this is a trick, well, it's going to be similar to one that you've seen before, probably, on Project Ignis, but this is designed to just have a good time and make people realize there's more to Yu-Gi-Oh! Than just blind combos. And this is hilarious when we actually do it. So the goal of this deck is to play 32, I think, hand traps. You can see we're pretty much playing every good hand trap in the game, and some hilarious ones as well. And we're going to blind second. So if you ever are tired of the format and just realize how terrible it is, here, we'll just get a name change here. Let me change the name real quick. Yes, you can play this and have a good time. So here we're going to go to host, and everything's going to be normal. Starting hand, cards per draw. We're going to change cards per draw to 35. 35 cards per draw. And we're going to be the undefeated champion here. So we're obviously this is pretty obnoxious, and yeah, sometimes obnoxious is funny. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Obnoxious can be a little bit funny. So we'll see what kind of bait that we can get here. Yeah, so everything's normal here. If the opponent takes time to read the screen, they'll know exactly what's up here. But if they don't read, then we'll be in a good position. So we're going to... Hopefully we're blinding second. The only thing that could beat us is if our opponent is also blinding second. And they are not. And we should be able to get the victory here. We'll see if they're playing Inferno Knights or Water. Oh, they are not. They are not playing anything that can actually get hand knowledge. So with that in mind, we should be able to win this pretty easily. Unfortunately, we're not playing a combo deck, so we don't get to wait for this guy combo for 45 minutes. But other than that, he does summon out a window, which is something... there's just a lot of normalized degeneracy in Yu-Gi-Oh! In today's game. Even though Shadal isn't tier 1, like cards like that just say no to having your opponent play, that's something really commonplace. Honestly, Winda is a floodgate, and floodgates in general probably aren't the healthiest for the game. But there's just so many of them. Konami has so much to unpack when it comes to that, yeah, it's hard to really... find any other way, I guess. And there you can see who drew all 5 pieces of Exodia. And then we have a concession for the game too. Oh, that was pretty good. We'll try to get a couple more here. It's always great when you get like a Dragon Link player that's not playing Smoke Grenade. If you get a Dragon Link player that's not playing Smoke Grenade, it is a hell of a good time. Just because they build up a giant, near unbeatable board, go into Union Carrier, and you just win. It's always fun, right? Oh, here, we're going to get a normal summon of A-lister. See, this is my favorite deck to be. It's like, things like, I will say this, all right, even though Invoked is one of the worst cards I just hate seeing. It's not overly oppressive, but it's just like so uncreative. It's like, every deck that's not meta, just normal summon A-lister. Very, very, very painful. But at least this is Win-Wish Invoked. I wish... That's just the thing about Invoked, is like, Invoked, actually, if we took out Secure Gardena, if we banned Secure Gardena, the Invoked package would be perfectly fine. You'd actually have to run actual light monsters. Yeah, crazy concept, I know, right? But that's just part of the problem. I think that's what people are overlooking right now. It's a normal summon Omni Negate, and I think that's the problem right now. So, yeah, this opponent is getting his cards, doing his whole Invoked thing, the Invoked Shuffle. But he will not go into Makaba, because obviously we cannot really do Makaba. Okay, this deck list is actually somewhat spicy. I was not expecting to see any of this. But so he's going to go into Raijin. Is that the name of the wind one? Yeah, Raijin. Raijin. We're going to get there. Add the invocation back to hand. So this actually isn't that bad. But here we're just going to draw all our pieces of Exodia and win the game. Wow. There's nothing that's beating that spice in the game. We just have such a spicy, spicy deck list. At least we got a laugh out of this guy. And we'll see if he can OTK us. If he can OTK us, he can win the game. He cannot OTK. I think I actually have taken losses with this deck before in these settings. Could you imagine, like, you can't really do this in real life just because, like, you can't just, like, draw 35 and just say, yep, we agreed to draw 35. That'd be hilarious though if you could just like draw 35 and like, oh yeah, we agreed to that. Okay, I have no problem punishing this player. Yeah, so a lot of terrible card designs have come out in the past year. And well, I'm gonna say that both Eldritch is bad card design just because like infinite pluses in the game really shouldn't exist. I don't care. And the thing is that the deck comes with like almost no downsides for the trap usage, so it's like you can really splash them in the engine and just get free recursion. I think that's honestly just terrible for the game. And it goes with the same thing kind of goes with the Dogmatica. Dogmatica does not need its normal summon to splash in. The downsides are really... The downsides to the deck are, I guess, they're not retroactive in their costs. They only have cost after the fact. So you can pretty much do any sort of combo and then splash Dogmatica in the end and get like 2 more extreme free interruptions and go +2. Okay, for some reason he just scoops there, but whatever. So like I feel like in the past year, like those card designs, the thing is like I'm fine with certain decks. I understand they do have to sell products, but at the same time, I do wish, like, the Eldritch design, it came out with everything. It came out with absolutely everything all at once. And the fact that every single card, I feel like cards should get support over time before they have like these crazy regenerative effects. And obviously Eldritch could be really regenerative with just maybe a couple less spells or traps, but it gave it everything. They gave it everything to be absolutely splashable right out of the gate. And I think even though those cards are overlooked very easily right now, they are problems just because of what they do. They're only overlooked because of how bad the format is right now. And the same thing kind of goes for all the Dogmatica. And I really don't think this player really knows what he's doing because, like, you can't special summon from the extra deck. But that's just the problem with Dogmatica. It's basically free pluses. You don't really have to think all that much. Once you learn how to splash it in, there's no like creative play lines that you can do with it. And that should be an obvious problem to a lot of people. And I don't know why it wouldn't be. So I think it's just been a bad year for Yu-Gi-Oh! Overall. Because everything, if you're going to have cards like the Dogmatica cards be a thing and even be slightly splashable, there should be some sort of other restriction. Like, for example, here, if the restriction was like during the turn, you can special summon once from the extra deck. Like it was a retroactive restriction. That would make it a lot more fair, and we would just get a lot less boring interactions. And that's just, right now, it's like the meta is split. The meta is split either between doing crazy combos that you cannot beat and then getting union carried on your own turn, even though the decks have a high skill ceiling. There's the decks that have the really low skill ceiling that are really, really repetitive and really, really splashable. So it's just a severe problem. Because there's those two competing just cancers. When it comes to like playing even at the local scene. You're probably not gonna you might not play all that much meta at the local scene, but you'll play a lot of cancer, and it's just like everything's cancerous. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm not here to complain. I mean, sometimes the game still can be fun. I love running Ren Maju and love running gimmick decks, but those only go so far. I do like sometimes I like the decks that are, of course, centered around interactive gameplay. And I don't think Konami has been great on the interactive side of everything. Again, and it's just important to keep in mind downsides. There should be downsides to activating your cards that give you advantage, and that's obviously not something they're taking into account. Yeah, so like another example is the Drytron that's coming out. The Drytron, I do love the fact that rituals are getting support. Don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of degenerate things that you can actually do with Drytron, and those degenerate things a lot of the degenerate things have to do with Herald of Perfection and Ben 10 not being a hard once per turn, and that's just the thing. Ben 10 cards like Ben 10 don't really have a downside to their usage, unfortunately. And so, like, Herald of Perfection is not a hard once per turn. You can do infinite searches, and that's just the thing. There aren't enough drawbacks to certain card designs. Even though I love the Drytron, it's the fact that if they're going to release something like Drytron, they're bringing up problems of the past, like Benton not even being a once per turn. And just putting out these crazy boards that you can only pretty much defeat with Dark Ruler, and even then, it's like when we're so centralizing to one card, I'm pretty sure that deck can still make Union Carrier and Buster Lock you anyway, which is absolutely horrendous for the game. So yeah, we beat Taco. We're gonna see. We haven't gotten any big combo player yet, unfortunately. But we'll try one more here. So hopefully you enjoyed my rant. Might not have been. It was mostly me complaining, but I think a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh community wants to complain with a very justified reason, and it's because like the game has just been forcibly unbalanced, and it's like I feel like Konami could care a little bit more about the competitive scene, and I think all it takes is a little bit more effort from the R&D department, and the R&D department just doesn't give a shit. Well, yeah, they might give a shit, but I don't think they give enough of a shit in order for the format to be healthy. That's just my personal opinion, but it's rough. It's rough times in Yu-Gi-Oh! And obviously, there's so many things that got released this year. It's hard to keep track of all of them. Like, there's obviously with we actually might actually lose this one. We'll see. But obviously, like the only reason like Dragoon isn't a problem. Dragoon is not a problem because Dragoon is not a problem because the meta is not seen. It's not meta. Let's just put it that way. Dragoon is not a problem because meta. But it would be a problem if meta is not a thing. And that goes to the same thing with a lot of other card designs like Numeron. I feel like if this ban list is like a nuke quote-unquote ban list, like a lot of people think it would be, I do not think that... like... Numeron Guru could be, in a different format, Numeron Guru would be the most oppressive deck you would have ever seen, but it can't get a chance to shine out right now because there's so much bullcrap that you can do right now. And there's also the hand trap problem. And when I say hand trap problem, it's not as if hand traps are inherently bad for the game. It's if too many hand traps and too many boring interactions are bad for the game. Like Ash Blossom. It's limited on the OTG, and it's limited for no other reason that it's seen so much usage that it became boring. And that's it's something we got to keep in mind. When there are decks like a Zodiac that are literally playing the same 12 hand trap lineups, they're just cancer for any other strategy. That's also a problem. Where you're playing 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, 3 Nibiru. At what point do we have a problem here? At what point do we say, okay, having 12 slots dedicated to something of that nature is not creative? I think that's a very huge problem. And again, that's probably not one that's going to be addressed, unfortunately. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. That's just my guess. But if this guy beats me, we'll wrap the if he gets this game, we'll wrap it up and we'll admit that we're no longer the undefeated champion anymore. If he beats me, it's the ultimate spice that I just lose to Giant Ballpark. Giant Ballpark. I do have the Nibiru in hand, though. So we could get an activation in battle phase. We'll try this. Bah! We'll try the Rocky Boy. We'll try the Rocky Boy. Maybe I should have waited. Well, and now we'll get a token collector. Token collector. I suck up my own token. Funny interactions. Suck up my own giant token. Those are rare interactions. Rare Yu-Gi-Oh! Interactions. Oh, what's he going to do? I have the timer super short because, like, I hate it when people take... Like, I can do a full Adamantipator combo. This is a recharging timer, so I've seen people take, like, 10 minutes on this timer. It's as long as they're performing actions, and that's just the thing. Like, if people don't know their combo, I don't consider it my problem. That's just my personal opinion. So 40 seconds, I think, is pretty fair. And it saves me a lot of just helmet players. Oh, can he? We got the mind control. We got... Oh, I don't think I can draw for turn because I'd use the driver. That's hilarious. I think I lose this no matter what. Yeah, that's why I forgot. That's why I have 41 cards in case I use the driver. I completely forgot about that. But I removed the upstart. But he's going to actually attack for game here. That's impressive. All right, we're going to surrender. We're going to see if he gives me a game 2. We'll see if he gives me a game 2. Oh, wow. This is an 18-minute video. I wonder... I don't know what the ruling is. Can you... Can you prohibition Exodia? The forbidden one? I don't know if you can prohibition Exodia and that would actually work. I would have to... Even, I guess that's the tricky thing. Once you're a judge, and I technically am a judge, sometimes there's just some interactions that you've never seen, and yeah, it's hard when it comes to those interactions. Yeah, I think I'd just probably lose. Wah. We'll see if he can put up damage. Can he put up damage? I should have set token collector, but obviously he's running blind second, so if we just get... I don't know if mind controls face up. If mind controls face up, that makes a difference. I just did a 20-minute video, and I need to... Well, I need to go to work soon. I mean, if he doesn't do damage, I win the game. 2. Oh, army ad tokens. Yes. Bah, token collector. Token collector. This is intense. This is the probably the most intense Yu-Gi-Oh game that I have ever seen. I think he still has it. I'll just ask if he has buff arc. He has to have a ballpark. Like, if he didn't draw ballpark and all this shenanigan, like, literally the game's over if he summons ballpark. From my understanding. I could be wrong. Okay, that's game. Good games, man. Good games.